Shadow on the track. Let's get it. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitches. See me in the drop cause I stay with them triggers. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitches. See me in the drop cause I stay with them triggers. Bitches like my style, they say they like my flow. When A-Dog come around, these pussy niggas gotta go. Why you hating on me, fool? You should already know. Fuck that loyalty, I'm royalty, y'all niggas got exposed.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your boys here at M.A.S Media. We are in for an exciting episode. This is our Season 2, Episode 2, Michael Jordan versus LeBron James debate. Right? So it's been a long time. I don't believe we've covered a sort of a sports topic on this podcast yet. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think we really wanted to, especially with the NBA Finals coming to an end, we wanted to be able to tap into sort of those barbershop debates that we all love to have. And one of the biggest ones that has obviously come as a result is who's greater, LeBron Raymond James, right, with an E, and a Y, James, and Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Right. So we, and I honestly, it's, I don't want to say I have recency bias, but I mean, just seeing the beautiful performance put on once more and the 10th finals appearance for Ramon James, King James, the chosen one, the Akron Hammer. The disrespect. The Akron Hammer. I mean, the list goes on and on as to how to describe this hunk of a man. I mean, no homo. Sorry, Lord. So to continue. Sorry, I got a little flustered there. Hey, yeah. So, but what I really wanted to do was kind of hone in on this argument. And honestly, get it out there, because I know that a lot of you guys who do make these, have these debates are usually just kind of throwing out, a lot of, fanfare, right? I mean, and we've all been there, but at the same token, I feel as though it would be fun for us to kind of tackle this kind of debate for this podcast, and I hope you guys can chime in and let us know what you think. I mean, hopefully you guys know the light and see the light, and we'll vote on the side of truth, LeBron, and and you guys will make the necessary decision to crown him, as he's already been crowned as the great.
Oh my God, enough is enough.
Sorry, my lips got a little dry. I need to get some water. So what I will do is I will leave the floor to my co-host, because it seems as though he has an animus or has an issue with said coronation.
All right, I can't take any more of this nonsense. All right, so please, I just let you go on for what, 2.5 minutes straight, just freaking rubbing LeBron's ego right now. All right, so let's just get to the point.
Rubbing on other things too. I mean,
get to the point. All right, Michael Jordan's the GOAT. And it's not even particularly close either.
Skip. Don't do that.
How about this? Your ass right off this podcast.
Don't do that, kid. Don't do that, kid.
This guy, you look, 6-0, man.
Oh, God.
2 3-peats. Bro. 3-peated on all the great teams. And this is the crazy part about LeBron super fans, or should I say fans, is that they always got excuses for LeBron. LeBron wins. Oh, yeah, LeBron's the best. LeBron loses. Oh, he didn't have no help. Every year, it's like, oh, LeBron they need to make a trade to get LeBron some help, because they might not make the playoffs. Yo, how come that's the thing? Well, it's probably not going to be the case anymore. He has Anthony Davis, probably going to retire with Anthony Davis, if he's lucky. But I mean, in years past, it was always the same old song with LeBron. It's like, look, why does he need so much goddamn help if he's the greatest player on the planet? And look, I agree. He is the greatest player the best player on the planet currently playing. Yes.
Yeah. Go James.
Overall, no. Overall, no. But let me continue with that point though. So when you look at teams in the past, like Carmelo Anthony when he was on Denver Nuggets, he had damn help, but he was expected to lead that team to the championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? LeBron always needs help. The narrative is why does the best player on the planet always need fucking help? Just to get to the goddamn playoffs. I mean, I'm not saying that he necessarily does need help, but that's the narrative put forth, and that's what the narrative that a lot of you fans, super fans, like to use. Like, oh, he needs help. If he didn't win, he needed help. If he won, oh, he had to. He willed his team. So his teammates never get credit. If you let a LeBron James fan talk, D-Wade was trash. If you let a LeBron James fan talk, Chris Bosh, who's he? If you let a LeBron James fan talk, oh, okay, yeah. I thought he was a D-leaguer that got brought up. If you let LeBron James fans talk. I'm just saying, man. And that's another problem with LeBron James fans. They got to push everyone else down or pull everyone else down, just to put him up. And if you have to do all that, there's a problem there.
All right, so thank you for bleeding my ears dry with that moniker. I mean, what we're not going to do for this argument is we're not going to teeter-tail our arguments based upon those of the ignorant. Right, because at the end of the day, right, we're trying to at least deal with the facts that we've compiled through our research to create the best argument possible, right? Yeah. Utilizing what we know about basketball and what the game entails. So what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to engage with you about they put down the Dwayne Wades and the Chris Bosh, because we all know that Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh were extremely vital in LeBron James capturing his first 2 titles. But again, I'm making this argument based upon those that are saying LeBron James is equivocally the greatest player on the planet, but is also realistic about why we say he's the greatest player on the planet. Not that he's
that's a contradiction in itself. You can't be realistic. A contradictory statement. It goes against it. Wow. To sit there and say LeBron James is the greatest player ever.
So I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Did Michael Jordan never needed any help to win the championships that he won? Is that what you're telling me?
Basketball's a team sport. Okay. All right. LeMichael James. LeMichael James from the evil tribe.
Man, don't do the skip dance, because I'm telling you right now, this is the problem that I have with if we're gonna do what problems or the gripes we have with LeBron James super fans. I also want to talk about the gripe that I have with Michael Jeffrey Jordan mother effing super fans, or the ones that are stuck in that 1984 to 1998 fog of beautiful memories. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, he was magnificent. He was spectacular, electrifying. It goes without saying. But at the same to act as though those 6 wins that he had in the finals were the only 6 years he played in the NBA. I'm not talking about the Wizard years, obviously, because though that's I mean he was away from the game for what, like 2 years, I believe. 2 or 3 years before he came back and tried to give it one good old go. Still got it.
Still averaged 20.
But I don't want to give him that, because I mean, at the end of the day, his team he was a shell of himself on defense. Even though he still had amazing moments where he was pinning people on the backboard, which I'm pretty sure LeBron could do at age 40, 41, knocking. There's no injuries or anything like that. But that goes without saying. It's like as though that there's no other statistics that happened before he won those six championships. Like, why are we leaving those out?
He won MVP, led the league in points. Like, what do you mean? There's all the statistics?
And where did his team go? Because you said it's a team game, no?
Whoa, Mike, whoa! He didn't have the coaching.
So now he didn't have the coaching. So now he So what was LeBron James working with? Mike Brown when he went to his finals, man, when he made his finals?
Hey, all right, allow me to make this point, man.
Oh, Lord.
Jordan was out there just freaking dropping 40 on everybody who was walking.
Yeah, again, out the first round.
Yeah, but you know what? He learned, and the organization learned. One, well, we have the greatest player possibly ever, and that's coming out of Larry Bird's mouth. You know what I'm saying? One of the greatest players ever. So when they realized that, they were like, well, we got to do something. You know, we got to win. Kind of like what right now in Houston. You know, I'm not saying James Harden's one of the best ever, but they got great talent down there. You got to do something because what you're doing ain't working, and to not even make it to a finals is a problem. So the Bulls, you know, being innovative. They went out there and they got Tex and they got Steve Jackson. I mean Steve Jackson. Phil Jackson, Steven Jackson.
I don't know. I don't know where that came from.
They got
Freudian slip.
So anyway, you got Phil Jackson, and obviously, you know, it's not only that they had the coaching. Mike knew, you know, what he was doing before wasn't leading to winning. So he showed that he can play in a system, which LeBron James has only shown me once, and that was reluctant down in Miami. So that's another knock I have. Michael Jordan played in the college system, played in 2 different systems in the pros, and was able to conform to that system. And people want to say, oh, his systems weren't this and that. Well, Mike, you're a Lakers fan. And you've been a Lakers fan as long as I know you, so you're very familiar with Phil Jackson and the triangle offense. So you know what kind of offense that is. It's not a high usage offense. All right. So he played in that system. His numbers took a dive. And you know what? They won championships. You know who else did something similar? Isaiah Thomas, the great Isaiah Thomas, not the little one, the other one, the real Isaiah Thomas. He had to change the way he played in order for the Pistons to win those rings back to back because he was scoring in the 20s. He had to take a dip to like the high teens and 12 assists a game. But you know what? That's what great players do. They change. LeBron James is 27-7 no matter where he goes. All right, I know what you can do. You know what I'm saying? I know what he can do. I want to know what you can do for your team. It's not what you do for your country. It's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country.
I love it. All right, so let me take that because I love that point this morning. What can you do for your team? So those 60-win seasons that he had, where he basically carried Mike Brown to deep playoff runs, as well as to an NBA Finals appearance against the Spurs, where they inevitably got swept. With no college experience. With none whatsoever, not playing with a Hall of Fame college coach. Okay, so said you know, jumping into a system. Let's see if Michael Jordan is so happy and reluctant to jump into a system if he's not playing for a Hall of. At that point, sorry, his name just I don't even know how his name escaped me. But the North Carolina coach, at the time, it'll come back.
Dean Smith.
Thank you, Jesus. Sorry. Dean Smith, at that time, had already accomplished heavily in the college ranks before Michael Jordan got there. So it's as if that Michael Jordan just was playing with a Mike Brown level of coach and was like, oh, you know what? Let me conform to your system. Is a fallacy. And it's to put LeBron James and to put it into context as well. Until LeBron James got matched up with Pat Riley, I mean, he thought Pat Riley was going to be the coach of that team.
And he thought wrong, and they didn't need Pat Riley to coach the team.
Okay, but at the same token, but to act as though that he would be reluctant to play in a system, right? It's just I just don't think that is a is a fair indicator.
So
he's playing for Eric Spoelstra. He's not playing for
Mike,
Pat Riley.
Do me a favor, Mike. You are a basketball. You're a fan of the game, right?
Sure.
You're a child. You're a child of the game. You can watch basketball and be able to break it down what you're seeing. So tell me, when have you seen LeBron James play in a style different than the way he's played over the past 5 years?
Again, name me a coach, right? If we're gonna ask that question, right? You have to be completely transparent. Name me a coach that has the same cachet as Michael Jordan had with Phil Jackson, or at least had the and I'm not saying Phil Jackson had it when he came in, but at least Phil Jackson had the experience as an assistant coach, heavy, right?
He was coaching in Puerto Rico.
But no, he brought on to help Doug Collins as an assistant coach before he took over.
Yeah, and Doug Collins is a great coach, but he obviously he
and Eric Spoelstra had no coaching experience before he got brought on. Neither did
Yo, but that's Pat Riley's guy, bro. So it's not like
but that's not Pat Riley. But that's not Pat Riley though. So that's completely.
Oh, it's not Pat Riley. Let me ask you another question.
Yeah,
the past five that you were just going off about, the past finals, right? The Miami Heat versus the Lakers.
Yeah.
Every freaking post game interview, every Heat player, whenever they were talking, they would say, "Oh yeah, Coach Spo and Coach Pat."
Yeah.
Coach Spo and Coach Pat. So listen, is he the quote unquote coach? No, but he's coaching. Don't let it be confused. So no, he has a huge influence on what goes on in that.
So you're saying at 12 years in, because I mean, sorry, not 12. Yeah, about because LeBron went there in
2009.
No, he went to the Heat in like
2009.
Was it 2009? I thought it was 2010, 2011.
Might have been 2010. I think we graduated already when he went there.
Yeah, it was like 2011. Because then I think
7 years.
They lost.
So he was in the league for 7 years.
So yeah,
25 years old, roughly.
Yeah, like 25, 26. Yeah, because then he went. Then he had the 4 years with Miami, where they lost to the Mavericks, and then they had the so we're not gonna get we can get into that later on, but at the same token, yeah, okay. Anyway, so back to I want to handle your coaching point that your system point that you're trying to make a home in. It's just to act as though LeBron again was provided with a coach, right, that had the sort of the foresight. I mean, it's the triangle, right, was a before its time, right? Like this is like Tex Winter, brought this, concept together, long before it ever became a thing with the Bulls, right? And then him and Phil Jackson, worked alongside each other to reshape it and to create a way where they could sort of modernize it and utilize it in that era's game of basketball. So now to say that Eric Spoelstra, right, was getting, because that was the point you made, that when he went to the Heat, he was reluctant to fall in, right, to fall in the ranks.
Yeah. Okay.
Am I off with that?
No. So, I mean, kind of. Let me just, because it was a while since I said it. What my point is about LeBron is his lack of willingness to conform. From what I've seen, he reverts back to the LeBron James system, which I call it based off of the high usage rate, i.e. like Oscar Robertson, James Harden style.
All right, so that's fair. So what I will say is that, do I believe that LeBron James overrides a lot of his coaches, right, because he believes that he knows best in certain situations? Absolutely. I will never sort of discount that. But if you look at the way this man's IQ breaks down in the game, like, and this is something that I had to do my research on. The fact, and I had to listen to an interview with Shumpert, Amon Shumpert. He was sitting down talking to DJ Vlad, where he broke down. So if you saw it, then you saw how he broke down this man's IQ to the extent to where he's break. You know how they have these analytics and all this other stuff nowadays? Like he was back then, where he was literally sitting down going, no, don't go out there because this guy shoots 26% and he's not. So he's the chances of him making that shot or not, he's not going to hit. So that you don't have to guard him that hard. So you could sag off. Like that's looking at basketball at a completely different. That's knowing the scouting report inside and out. So when a person with that type of IQ says, no, we're in the last, let's say, 8 minutes of the game, says, no, we're going to run this. I'm going to be sitting at the top of the key and we're going to run our offense as such. I'm sorry. Like, it's very difficult for me. It's one thing if he didn't do his homework, right? And he just naturally walked down the court and said that.
I agree.
Okay. So how can that be a detriment?
Okay. I'll explain.
That's what I want to say.
Let me explain, because I definitely agree with that. And LeBron James is a great player and probably the greatest that I've ever seen with that skill set.
Right.
And my next point, and I believe the next logical point for anyone should be, so then why don't you be player coach, LeBron?
Why would he do that to himself?
And if you just said that he believes he's better than a coach, then why not be player coach?
You do realize there's way more to coaching than just drawing up plays, right?
Yeah, I do know that. But so you just said yourself. I said in the last 8 minutes
of the game.
In the last 8 minutes, okay, then why not be the player coach, LeBron?
Why would
why not just demand a better coach? Oh, you know what? Or why not just go to a team that has a better coach? Because last time I checked, last free agency that he was in, he had that opportunity, and he decided not to because he could went wherever the hell he wanted to go. Wherever.
Okay, so
LeBron James can go wherever he wants to
what
go.
team would have been? So what team with a better coach, as you're saying?
Popovich. That was the best available coach.
When he was a free agent, wasn't Kawhi Leonard still there?
No, no. When he went to LA.
But that was the year. That wasn't no, that. Kawhi, that wasn't no, that. Kawhi, that was not the season where Kawhi Leonard got traded from the Raptors to the Spurs. I'm sorry.
No, dude.
Raptors.
Kawhi won the title the year LeBron was hurt on the Lakers.
I get that. I know. So he was on the Raptors, but he didn't start off on the Raptors.
Yeah, they did. They didn't do a midseason trade.
They traded for DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, but it wasn't midseason. They won.
No, because he
went into the season like that.
No, I'm not saying it was a mid-season, but it was a beginning of the season move, wasn't it? Because Kawhi Leonard was not playing games. He was not playing any games.
Exactly. And he said he wasn't, and he was leaving.
Hey y'all, it's Mike. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So if you don't do it now. Download the free Anchor app to go to anchor.com to get started. Thank you guys, and catch you guys later on our podcast.
They were trading him. Everyone knew what was going on. Like, it wasn't even like, oh my God, they traded LeBron. I mean, they traded Kawhi. So LeBron could have went to look. If you're trying to make the point that LeBron didn't know that there was going to be a vacancy, just to suit your point about that was the best coach.
It's not about that's what I'm asking. So if it's not about making a point, that's why I'm asking if there was a person on that team. So and also at the same token, that system, right? Popovich's system is not I don't want to say it's not a player friendly system per se. It's so where somebody like LeBron James can hone and make his mark, because they've never had a player like LeBron James in that system, right? So that's a lot to ask of someone to just go ahead and jump into that degree, right?
That's interesting.
So rarely outside of Kawhi Leonard, right? Who have we really seen that? I mean, I know Tim Duncan's been in that system, but Tim Duncan is a company man. He's a company, like, if you look at his numbers, right, and the people that he played alongside.
Mike, you're not answering the question. I have a very simple question. How come if it's about coaching?
I just said there's a lot of different factors that go into why he wouldn't go to the Popovich.
So Luke Walton. Luke Walton. Okay, thank you. So that tells me the coaching isn't the thing for you. That's what that tells me.
What are you talking about? You said you wanted me to answer your question, right? So I answered by saying that there might not have been a fit play style wise. So why would he not? So why would he make the decision to go to Greg Pop? Because that was the person you brought up. You brought up Greg Pop as an example.
I said he always reverts back to the LeBron James style. Now you're gonna say it wasn't a fit because the play style. Duh, yeah, because he's gonna want to play the LeBron James style.
But again, it's
gonna be like, oh, the system that we run.
So then there's a James Harden style. There's a Russell Westbrook style.
Oh my God!
So because these guys,
it's the same style. Those are the same styles. They branch from the same tree. Those styles.
So Mike D'Antoni had no effect on the play style of the Houston Rockets then.
Mike D'Antoni had an effect on putting the ball in James Harden's hand. Before Mike D'Antoni got there, when he was still with Kevin McHale, he had James Harden playing like your traditional two guard.
Uh-huh.
When Mike D'Antoni got there, and you noticed, Mike, I don't know why I got to explain it. He moved him to the one.
No credit to the coaches. That's my issue with what you're.
I am giving credit to the coaches because
their style.
Look. But listen, no, hold on. I'm just explaining to you how James Harden was a traditional two guard. Then Mike D'Antoni came, made him a one, and obviously you saw what happened to the team's success.
Offense through his style, right? Through his coaching style, as a result of moving him to the one.
Keep the ball in his hands. High usage, yes. That's his style.
So that's always James Harden's style. So Mike D'Antoni.
I'm not saying that's only James Harden's style.
Question, because this is the pigeonhole that you're putting me into, by simply saying that, oh, these guys are just coming in and changing their position, and then they're essentially letting them just handle the ball and do whatever they want. As if
that's what Mike did.
There was no coaching involved in what James Harden's done in the last 4 years.
The coaching was, look, James, listen, we're gonna take threes, we're gonna get to the basket.
That's it.
We're not shooting no middies here. For the most part,
that's all I can't have an argument with you about this if you're literally going to limit the coaching the coaching breakdown to just shoot threes and layups. Like,
no, you have to understand something. You have to understand. Obviously, I wasn't.
I understand a lot.
Allow me to get my point across without you trying to mischaracterize what I'm saying.
Because you listen to what you're saying. Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Is like, if you listen to what I'm listening to what you're saying, and from what you're saying, it's extremely problematic. Like, because these men have been in the league for 30 plus years. So this is where my basketball, the basketball player in me has an issue with what you're talking about. Because if you're gonna just say that, then we can't have a conversation about the coaching styles and all this other stuff. Just he can't play whenever.
You're making these scarecrows, dude. Like, literally,
what scarecrow?
Look, it started with LeBron James had a decision if he wanted coaching.
Sure,
you made this case, right? So I'm asking you to stand by your case. If that's the case and he needs coaching, because I said, why not be player coach? Oh, well, okay, whatever. So then he had an opportunity. He chose to go to Luke Walton. Are you going to sit here and say that Luke Walton was the best coach out there?
He chose Luke Walton. Is that what you're telling me? Wasn't Luke Walton already there?
And he went there. So yes, he chose Luke Walton
because he chose the Lakers. He chose the Lakers. So you're acting like Luke Walton came with that package.
Yeah, and you know what? That tells me that obviously coaching probably wasn't at the top of the list when it came down to where the hell he was going. So that brings us right back to my point. He wants to play in the LeBron James system, and you want to say, oh well, he had he had the misfortune of having poor coaches. Then that's when I made a very valid point.
One of the coaches, that's the James. He was. Is that what you're telling me?
I'm saying if you want to make the case that LeBron James had poor coaches and oh my God, poor LeBron, then when he had the opportunity to go to a coach that is a high esteem, high prestige, then why didn't he? Or why didn't it at least appear that was part of the reasoning why he decided to go somewhere? Like, nah, he went there like as soon as possible. Like, he signed with LA. It didn't matter. It didn't matter who the coach was.
He wanted to be in LA. Yes. So I don't get your point about he just could care less of which coach is there.
No. Mike. Okay, so look here. Let's tie it all back because you want Mike Brown. All right, Luke Walton. LeBron James with Mike Brown. Oh, he carried Mike Brown 60 games. This, that. Mike Brown, bad coach. Yada yada. Okay,
I never said he was a bad coach. I never said he was a bad coach.
You said, okay, all right. Maybe I misspoke, but you didn't speak highly of him.
I didn't say anything about Mike Brown. Mike Brown had no coaching resume before LeBron James. I don't want to say no coaching resume. He had no head coaching experience, obviously, before he got brought on to the Cleveland Cavaliers. So
okay.
So if we're working Michael Jordan, having Phil Jackson, obviously they want to
No. We're just talking about.
That's where my point was. Brown. No. I know what you're talking about, but you're bringing up the Mike Brown aspect. I brought up Mike Brown as a comparison to what Michael Jordan was dealing with coaching from a coaching experience. That's what I'm saying. He never had someone of the cachet of a Phil Jackson. That's all I'm talking about. Now, if you want to go back to
who has the cachet of a Phil Jackson? That's coaching. Phil Jackson is. Pop is the closest. My whole point is, and we're beating a dead horse. So I'll let this one go after I reiterate this one more time.
Sure.
My point is, if coaching was as big of a deal as you're saying for LeBron James, then LeBron James, in my opinion, would have sought out a great coach. In my opinion, the greatest coach LeBron James has ever played for is Eric Spoelstra. So not only did he leave there prematurely, he left and then went to go. I forget the name of the coach that came over from Europe.
David Blatt.
David Blatt. So David Blatt had coaching experience. Why did David Blatt have to go? Because David Blatt had a system that he was trying to run, and LeBron wasn't having it. Then he gets him out of there.
Okay.
And then he got Ty Lue. Again, I think Eric Spoelstra is a better coach than Ty Lue.
Okay, so what I'm first of all, I've never made the point that coaching was not important for LeBron James. Nor have I ever tried to say that LeBron.
I never said that you said it wasn't important. What I'm saying is,
I'm letting, just like you're reiterating I'm reiterating for myself to make sure that our viewers don't get it twisted.
But I never said you didn't say that.
I never said you said that. I said I want to reiterate for myself that I have never said that. I just want to make sure, just so that there's no confusion before I go into what I'm about to say. If we're going to talk about David Blatt, right? David Blatt getting shipped out of there after he fucked up, right? Because if you remember, there were numerous occasions upon late minute coaching strategy decisions that necessarily need to be made, whether it be calling a necessary timeout or knowing how many timeouts are left in the game in critical monikers throughout the playoffs. These are the reasons. I don't know if you can hear me. These are things that were being picked up on by not just LeBron James, but also the organization of the Cleveland Cavaliers, which led to, right? And I'm not going to sit here and act ambivalent and say LeBron James had no part in his being let go, because I'm sure they asked his opinion on what he thinks about them making a change, right? But at the same token, there was evidence as to why David Blatt was not going to be a good fit going forward for the Cleveland Cavaliers, based upon the mention that I spoke about how he handled himself in late game scenarios, right? Which is extremely important because I do believe in the importance of coaching, right?
So then why not go to Popovich? Because you just said LeBron James was great in the last 8 minutes of a game.
Because I said, but not early. No. As I said earlier, there is a lot more that someone just jumping onto just because you have a great coach over there, right? Doesn't mean that it's always going to be a great fit. That's not like you're
LeBron, the coaches, the greatest player on the goddamn planet with the highest basketball IQ.
Sure.
You mean to tell me that you can't go to? What is it about? Is it about stat padding or is it about winning championships?
And that's exactly where we have to disconnect and move on. Because if that's the narrative that you want to throw out there, that he is an illustrious stat padder, then I'm not going to be able to have this conversation with this point.
Mike, you're the one saying that coaching is important, and I agree. So if that's the case, then why the hell would you go to LA where they don't have a good coach? And you could have went
because he wanted to play in LA. He didn't want to play in San Antonio. So what?
So that tells me.
So it's more to
location.
Yeah.
Okay. Location. Okay. All right.
I didn't say coaching was the only thing that separates a person between going to a good place, going to a good coaching spot. Otherwise, a lot of players would go to the Clippers because Doc Rivers is a great coach. But not everybody can go to the Clippers.
Rivers is not a great coach.
In retrospect, compared to this landscape of the league, he is a great coach, right? Obviously, I'm not saying that he is the epitome of awesome coaching, but again, compared to his contemporaries outside of the ones that have already proven themselves, the Greg Popoviches and such, right, alike, Doc Rivers is a great or good coach and has a lot of good, his resume, as far as the people that have played for him, is always on the up and up. Outside of, I believe Chris Paul, not so much. It was more so the dichotomy that exists between him and Blake Griffin and who was supposed to be the man on that team, which is a tough sell, but for any coach, right? That's a tough, that's a tough sort of environment to sort of handle when you have two superstars who are just not on the same page. Right. So there's a lot of things that go into that. But at the same token, what I've never said is that coaching is the end all be all. Right. That's why I'm saying, like, there's a lot of things that went into LeBron making that decision to go to the Lakers. Am I saying that he went there saying, oh, yeah, I get to play for Luke Walton? Yeah. Yippee. No, I'm not saying that at all. If anything, he probably had the foresight to think that, Luke, man.
I'm gonna forget Luke.
Luke, hey, if you're here when I'm done, then by all means, man, good luck to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ignorant, right? I'm not ignorant to that fact that LeBron has a short leash, right?
So let me ask you a question.
At all.
I'll ask you one more question, then we get off this point. So you said it's about styles. We all know what style Luke Walton runs.
Sure, similar to the Golden State Warriors play style. Sure.
All right, so
or at least he tries.
That wasn't That wasn't a style that LeBron could get with. That didn't fit him because you said it's about fit. That's why he didn't go to Pop.
Right.
So does that style fit him more than Pop, which is a running style when LeBron was what 35, 36? That was the style.
I mean, he was
for
when he
him?
got there, he was like 32, 33. So
No, he wasn't. Because no, he was no, because he was in Miami from what 20,
yeah, but you do like
24,
LeBron James'
26 to like.
birthday is late in December, so it's technically right. His birthday is later, so I'm just being particular, but he was around 33, 34, so to speak.
All
Before
right, yeah. So yeah, playing in that system. So I'm asking you. Obviously, we don't have LeBron to ask him. Based off styles, you think that's a better style for him to play than with Popovich?
with this new NBA, absolutely. Which is
No.
yeah,
With his
yeah,
style,
with
his
compared
playing style.
Luke Wallen style, right, which is a resemblant there of the Golden State Warrior style, right, versus the Pop style, which is the more grinded out half court D sort of play style, flow offense, still with a little bit of that European sort of finish, right? They're not playing into the 120s, right? They don't want to get the game there. They want to hold the teams to 100, under 100, and
Yeah,
they want to get to that. Obviously you have to score over 100 in the league, right, to be able to say that you're gonna to give yourself a shot, right? But that's usually been Popovich's, which is why they struggle now, right? Because they struggle to get offense, right, in this league, because again they have very stoic personnel that don't get the ball moving enough to be able to get the points up there to be able to compete with the Golden
it's funny
States of the world.
because based off what you're saying, it sounds like LeBron James would have been a great fit for them. Then
How if you don't have the personnel?
yeah, LeBron would have been the personnel. Am I wrong in saying
He's
that?
one player.
He gets the ball moving. Yeah. What do you mean he's one? He took the Cavs one player to the finals when he was way younger, far less experience.
Right.
So
You're asking about this.
it is not.
You're asking about
He's not one player. There's LaMarcus Aldridge is there. LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, he was like 35, 36 with terrible knees. There's no way he's getting up and down the way you need him to be able to run that style. LaMarcus Aldridge, yes.
In San Antonio.
Yes, in San Antonio. Do you think Marcus Aldridge is going to be able to run like the I'm not going to say the Anthony because obviously he's a unicorn, right? But you think he's going to be able to run like you need him to in that up-tempo type style?
No, I'm talking about in pop style.
I'm saying that,
you put LeBron.
But that's what I'm saying. They don't run that style in pop. LeBron needs runners. Where are the runners in San Antonio?
Look, yeah, LeBron needs runners when you're playing the LeBron James system. Yes, I agree with that. Yes.
Sure. So why would it work in San Antonio if the personnel doesn't?
But that's my point. It doesn't matter who the damn coach is when you run in the LeBron James system. You need people that's going to run. You need people that's going to run down the sideline and get to the corners. You need people that's going to get offensive rebounds. You need someone that can spell him and make for him. He needs that definitely. But that's like I said, super. I'm not taking anything away from LeBron James. He's a great player. If anything, one of the knocks that I will put on LeBron is that, it's great, LeBron, that you could play point guard at this age, and you did a hell of a job doing it. But you know what I like to see? I like to see him do more four-man work, especially with the league getting smaller and the way that he could pass. Like, I think it would come easier for him. I think he would elongate his career if he were to do so.
So what I'm again, I want to make sure I keep this honest. Do I think LeBron James is the perfect player? Absolutely not. Are there things about LeBron that frustrate me when he plays? Absolutely. But if I watch the Michael Jordan's tapes, right? If I sit down and I really go through the
there's nothing wrong with
perfection. First of all, when Michael Jordan was asked to do what LeBron James does, right? When he was the sole creator, the sole everything for the team, his team went nowhere, right? So, yeah, he stacked up accomplishments. Absolutely, I'm not taking that from anybody. He was he was out on par with the Wilt Chamberlains of the world as far as efficiency, right? But that's great. But where was his team going? Because, like you said it to start this off, this is a team game, right? Mm-hmm. Go to LeBron James, right? Giving you not the same sort of output, right? Because he plays a different style, but his teams were never got bounced out the first round. Okay, has only, I mean, again, his record with the players that he's had, right, is still light years beyond what Michael Jordan was doing, and he didn't even play in college. So he didn't even have a coach, a college coach to reshape him and to give him the necessary tools.
And I think. And I think that hurt him. But I will say this, but to your point that you just brought up, he didn't play in college. Do you know LeBron James, junior year in high school, and I'm sure you know this, was projected lottery pick.
Right, yeah.
Michael Jordan wasn't a projected lottery pick.
No, because he shot up. He had his growth spurt in his senior year.
Exactly. So if he just stopped them both at high school, yeah, LeBron's better. And I probably won't even say that it's close.
It's not.
But obviously, no. You know, there's college. LeBron didn't go to college, and that's fine. I'm not going to hold it against him that much. But when it comes to playing in systems and showing ability to make adjustments in systems that could help you win championships, because again, like you said, Jordan was averaging like super. His numbers took a dip once Phil came. Period.
Sure.
Period. But he
Scotty,
was winning.
Don't forget the top 50 greatest player of all time, Scottie Pippen.
Listen, Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest role players of all time. Like hands down.
Continually forget about him. Well, I don't
forget about him.
But if we're going to talk about the LeBron haters, the LeBron lovers, the Michael Jordan lovers, I feel as though also forget about
Mike and Scotty, LeBron, D-Wade, Chris Bosh, big threes. This is the only year he didn't have a big three, and the only year he didn't really need one. You know, don't forget. There's an asterisk. You know, Pat Riley said it best. There's an asterisk. Boy. You know, on the championship.
And then he took it back. And then he took it back. He reshaped this thing because he knew better. No, because he knew better.
He knows how that. Like, he knows in his heart. Yeah, there's an asterisk.
Yeah, to his team. He put it on his team. It's on the Miami Heat, not on the Lakers. It's on his team because they couldn't get to the finish line healthy.
It's on any team, and I'm not even just going to make it exclusively about LeBron and the Lakers. Any team that would have won. Any team that would have won.
There's an asterisk on the Warriors for when they beat LeBron without Kyrie.
No, I'm saying in the bubble, tournament.
So this shit got it. Okay, so it only applies when it's against LeBron James. Okay, so.
No, I literally said it's not exclusively on LeBron. I said any team that would have won, there's an asterisk. I don't care if the Milwaukee Bucks would have won. Asterisk.
And we're gonna. That's
my opinion. You don't have to agree with that. That's my opinion.
That the basis, because then if that's the case, then this fourth championship is an asterisk in your opinion. Then.
No, listen, all right. Allow me to be super clear for you and all the listeners out there. Did LeBron James' fourth championship? There's an asterisk.
Okay, so then,
in my opinion.
So then
but, dude, let me finish.
No, because that's really.
But, hold on, listen, bro.
I'm listening.
There's an asterisk next to it. But, at the end of the day, especially being an Uber competitor like I am, if there's a game to be played, there's a game to be played, and we all have to play under the same rules. So, with that being said, yeah, he earned that against who he earned it against. But at the end of the day, was that a full season? Could a lot of things have went differently? Because some teams have made the playoffs and got hot. Yeah, a lot. So many variables go into that that I have to put an asterisk next to. At the end of the day, once you enter the tournament, you all know what the stakes are. You all know what's going on. You know, may the best team win. All right, I get that. But prior to that, it's not. I'm giving.
You're not. You're not. It's like you're giving credit, and then you're essentially taking it away. Like as soon as you're giving them all this love, right? As far as the putting it in, like being your Uber competitor, so you understand that the games need to be played and this and that, right? You give them that, but then you automatically afterwards then go ahead to say, oh well, it's just there's a whole bunch of other variables that just come into play as well. Like it's you might as well not even give the credit.
There are there not variables? Am I not allowed to speak from the perspective of reality, saying that a lot of different things could have happened? There could have been injuries if they would have played a full length season. So LeBron James is old. He could have got hurt. Am I wishing that on him? No, but it could have happened. A lot of different things could have happened. A lot of teams could have hot. Phoenix was getting hot. Maybe they could have been in there. Maybe New Orleans would have had more chemistry. Maybe they could have made a better push. Who knows? A lot of different things could have happened if they would have played a regular season. All I'm saying. So I'm not discounting the championship.
You just said there's an asterisk.
You have to. Once you get in there, you got to play. Someone's going to win it. Like when Jordan retired, somebody had to win. And you know who it was? It was Hakeem. He stepped up and did what the fuck he was supposed to do. And I told you before the bubble, I said, listen, this is LeBron James' best chance to win because this is what he's supposed to do. No KD. The Warriors are out. You the best player. You're supposed to win. So yes.
That's his fault that these players aren't there.
No, but you're supposed to win.
Again, it's the word asterisk because if you can't sit there and say that you're not discounting his championship, but then an asterisk. No, that's
my
fine.
Opinion.
But if you're going to give your opinion on it, I'm going to help you or at least give you insight as to why that opinion is just it has no fucking foundation. You can't say that there's no you're not going to discount the championship, but then use the word asterisk. That those two they're diametrically opposed from one another.
No, they're not. Because I think you're trying to make.
I'm not. You're discount. What trying to discount the championship? What does that mean?
You're trying to make a duality right now.
You just said you're not going to discount. Did you not say you're not trying to discount his championship that he just won? Did you not say that? Did you also say that there's an asterisk next to this champion, no matter who won it? I'm not talking about LeBron James. You said no matter who, it could have been LeBron. So
yes, I did. And then why? And why did I say that, Mike?
Because you just said that. You said there was a ton of other variables that went into play as to why it's not the same. But if you're going to say that, right, then why would you even say you're not going to discount the championship?
Because, and allow me to make myself clear one more time, because at the end of the day, my issue is all the variables that could have occurred prior to a regular NBA playoffs.
Aaron.
That's what I'm saying. We don't know. That's the unknown. Hold on. That's the unknown. We don't know what could have happened. We have no idea. But that's where the asterisk lies.
I don't see. I'm not. See, I think you're not clear, right, on what I'm saying is an issue, right? I understand your points completely. You see that there's variables that exist that created an environment as to which it was not the same, right? So by that point, you want to bring in the asterisk. Fine.
No. Yeah, the asterisk.
That's fine. But what I'm saying is, if you're going to say that, right? Saying that you're not going to discount the championship just seems as though it's to again. And I'm telling you what that seems like. I'm not telling you. I'm not going to say what you're arguing because I don't know your mind. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm telling you.
I'm telling you what it sounds like when you say it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. No matter what you mean, it's what you're saying. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Hey, I think I've been saying it super clear. I'm not discounting his championship, but there is an asterisk next to that season for me.
Discounted. It's a discounted championship.
No, that's for you.
It's not
that's
for
how you want to take
it. Wasn't you would say it's a win. You would say it's an asterisk. I know that's not what you're saying. That's why I have an issue with what you're saying.
No, Mike. All right. Anyway, let's just stop with all that. Let's just get to the raw numbers. Okay?
Sure.
Because
let's ask to move on.
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on to 6 rings to 4.
Okay. What about 10 to 6?
Tell me
what about Bill Russell's 10? What about Kareem 6?
What about
what? Like what about
funny,
Mike? Why I don't understand that. Like why this whole 6? Like what about the six rings is so than what Kareem and Bill Russell did?
Allow me to clear the air for everyone out there.
Sure.
This is me personally. Michael Jordan is my GOAT.
I see that.
Now, if anyone wants to argue, hey, Kareem or Bill Russell, I'm cool with that. I think it's arguable, but I give the nod to Jordan. Now, if anyone says, "Oh, I think Kareem's the greatest," we're not gonna do what we're doing right now. I would never have a debate on a podcast about who's better, Kareem or Jordan. You know what I'm saying? Like that, you're splitting brains at that point. Now, for one, Nah, there's a difference. There is a difference. And not saying LeBron isn't great. Not saying that LeBron can't, if he pulls off something crazy in the next 2 years. Maybe I'm not gonna say what Stephen A said, and he could never. Who the hell knows? If LeBron wins 2 more championships, then you know what? Hey, what the fuck? I think we might have the new GOAT on our hands.
Got it.
But short of that, right now where it stands, Michael Jordan has shown me so much more than LeBron James has. 6 championships, and it's not just about the championships. Because again, like Bill Russell, 10. It's about how you win the championships and about who you play against.
Who you play
on top
against.
of that, and who you played against.
All right. So a point that I've seen, right, as far as the who you played against, right. And again, comparing errors is a very difficult thing to do, obviously, right? Because there's science and things like that happen along the way that, that sort of alleviate the playing field, right? Sorry, elevate the playing field on the side of the better science, right? But at the same token, if we're going to talk about who you played against, right? So that Eastern Conference that LeBron James played in, right? That sappy, shitty, go lucky.
Yeah, the least conference.
Skip loves to go back to, right? So he's in that Eastern Conference. There are no prospective Hall of Famers that have played in that Eastern Conference.
Oh, whoa! Are you saying
no?
That definitively?
I'm asking a question.
Oh no, obviously not.
Compared to not. the Eastern Conference, the pounded, the turbulent, the what's it called? The sort of legendary Eastern Conference that Michael Jordan played in to win his 6 championships, right? So how many Hall of Famers were playing at the time where Michael Jordan was playing in such a dangerous Eastern Conference when he won?
That's a great question. I do not know off the top of my head, but I can think of some quick names. Obviously, you had Larry Bird, you had Isaiah Thomas, you had Joe Dumars on the same team. I think that Bill Laimbeer should be a Hall of Famer.
Sure.
Dennis Rodman's a Hall of Famer. You had Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal's a Hall of Famer. Penny Hardaway had Hall of Fame talent. His career got cut short. Dominique Wilkins, just off the top of my head, that's a few, and I'm sure there's more. There's more. There is more,
right? But it's not significantly more, right? You have the Patrick Ewing, right? Who played in that time as well, who was a Hall of Famer.
Pat.
You have the Alonzo Mourning as well, who was also a Hall of Famer.
Oh, Charles, right? Wasn't he there?
Say it again. He was moved in the late '80s from the Sixers to the Suns, but he wasn't playing during that run. I'm talking about during that run to the five. I don't believe he was the six championships. That's the point I brought up. The 6 championships that Michael Jordan won. Who were the Hall of Famers that played? Because those are the ones he won, and that's the ones those are the ones you just said is the rings, right? Talk 6 rings. Right, he had to go through an Eastern Conference for those 6 rings. No, so that's why I want to make sure we speak on the people, because and then the next point you made was, it's really about who you play against, right? So I'm bringing this up to lay the foundation that, as you also said, context matters, right? So and please stop me if I'm mischaracterizing or misquoting you or misnoting you in the things that I'm saying and quoting you on. So when you speak about the Larry Bird, was Larry Bird at the peak of his career when Michael Jordan won beat the Celtics?
To answer that question, no, but let's not act like the '86 Celtics isn't arguably one of the greatest teams of all time, and that is a team that knocked Jordan out. That you wanted to say, you want to put that down on him, but yeah, he went against one of the greatest teams of all time.
And LeBron James didn't go against one of the greatest teams of all time in the Warriors with Kevin Durant.
With Kevin Durant,
and even when Kevin Durant there, the 73-9 team that was running roughshod through the league at the time that he won his 3rd NBA championship on.
Oh, you know what's funny? You know what's so funny about that, Mike? Everyone talks about that season like, oh my LeBron, that's when he was the greatest. Going into that season, the Warriors had 9-2 odds to win the championships, and the Cavs had a 2-1 odds. They were favored. They were supposed to win. The fact that they went down 3-1 is an anomaly. So they had Harrison Barnes in that team. Did they play great? Listen. Did that team play great? Yes, they played great. Did that team outplay expectations? Sure. Yes, they did. But let's not forget. At the end of the day, that's what the NBA is about: having the best team. The best team typically wins. LeBron had the best team, and they won, and they should have won. They shouldn't have even been down.
He had the best team.
Period. Yes, he did. Right. He had the better team.
He definitely didn't. But I'm going to go back to.
He did. He did. 2-1 odds. 2-1 odds to win, Mike.
At the end of the season, that's why I asked you, what were the odds going towards the end of the season? Were they still 2-1? Because I personally don't know. I was not following the betting stuff at that time to be able to know whether or not the odds stayed the same throughout the course of the season. Because
going into the playoffs, the odds were the Warriors were favored. I think 2 games. I think something like that. But they were favored once it started. But regardless, there was no significant roster changes.
Right.
It's the same
then that means
team.
that there's something changed.
Those odds were based off momentum. Those were momentum.
But those teams, other teams are.
But hey, hold on. But when you look at the paper, LeBron still had the better team. He never has any help. He had the better team, and you know what? He got outplayed that year. Does that mean that the Warriors were the better team that year? But on paper, LeBron had the better team, period. Point blank. They didn't play as – they underperformed. The Warriors overperformed. But when it came down to it, LeBron James was able to hash it out and win it. But should they have been down 3-1? In my personal opinion, no, they should not have. The Warriors were not a super team until they got Kevin Durant, in my opinion. Harrison Barnes is a super team. Listen, you want to talk about MVP and All-Star like Jordan? MVP and All-Star like Mike and Scotty. Yeah, that's Steph and Clay. Harrison Barnes isn't a goddamn All-Star. So when they added KD, that's when they became an unstoppable team. So this whole narrative that LeBron slayed the Dragon. So LeBron was the Dragon. He was the Dragon.
Okay. So that was a lot to unpack, right? So what I will say, right, is definitively no, they weren't the better team top to bottom. It's not even close. Like that system that the Warriors ran, right, versus the LeBron James system that you love to don, right? It was just from a basketball player's perspective, you cannot, right, play that system that LeBron and it to that extent, right, at that time, right before LeBron James was able to make that miraculous comeback, right, where he was down 3-1 that you're speaking about. There was a reason why he was down 3-1, right? Because of a number of different factors. But at the same token, to act as though that team, right, that Warriors team as a collective wasn't better than overall than the Cavaliers.
They weren't.
Are you serious? How could you,
bro?
Steph, Steph, 2-time MVP, yes. Clay, one of the best shooters of
Harrison
all time.
Barnes.
Top 3 best shooters of all time.
Okay, yeah.
Draymond Green.
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. At that point,
Klay Thompson wasn't one of the best shooters of all time by that point.
No, he was trending. He was trending to that, but no one would say it as definitively as anyone would now.
No. Right now, they say that it's him and Steph, and him and Steph as being the best shooters of all time. It wasn't even. I'm saying one of the best. Yeah. I didn't say they the best.
I'm saying back then he was trending towards that, but no one was saying it definitively. Like you're looking back through your scope now, saying,
best. I didn't say that him and Steph were the best shooters of all time. I said that so he wasn't trending as you just said he was trending as the best shooter. Well, sorry, you can't say he's the best because then there's Steph there as well. But I literally just said one of the best. That doesn't mean that he's top 10. That doesn't mean there's a lot of great shooters within that one of the best. That's why I said it.
I'm not getting into that back and forth. I'm gonna leave it right there. Like I said, like at that point in time, no one was saying he was one of the best. People were saying he could be. The Splash Brothers, they could possibly be if they continue like that, which they did go on to continue. And now, yes, people do say that definitively.
Sure.
Now, but anyway, I digress. To the Clay All-Star. Harrison Barnes, please explain to me. Please.
Well, what about Draymond Green? Draymond Green was the All-Star. Draymond Green.
Explain that to me.
Why would you go to Harrison Barnes and forget about Draymond Green?
Because Harrison, you said the team top to bottom, right? So I have to go from the top to the bottom. All right, so then that's why I went through Harrison Barnes. No, he's not better than Draymond Green. Not my personal.
We can't talk top to bottom if you're discounting. Not saying discounting, because you do believe he's a good player. Obviously, you just said that. But if you can't skip over Draymond. Draymond has to come after Clay. You're defensive player of the year at eventually. So
no. So I'm going down like rotation wise. I'm going from the 1 to the 2.
Oh my God.
To the 3 to the 4 to the 5.
Okay. I get it. All right. So you're going 1 through 5. Got it. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Got it. Okay.
All right. Now, before Draymond Green.
What about him?
Draymond Green? Draymond Green.
No, I get it. That's why I'm like, what about Draymond Green? Like, so you believe Kevin Love is better than Draymond Green?
Now that is a debate all on its own. I'm going to sit here and say, I'll take a pass on answering that. I will say, for the sake of continuous conversation, that I would think that they would null each other out. I think they both do things differently and they add to their team, but I think that when you stack it together, they can wash each other out.
I normally I would agree with that point, but in that final series, Draymond Green was outplaying Kevin Love vastly throughout that playoff. Like, I mean, I'm talking he was damn near averaging like a 20-point triple-double in that before he got suspended for Game 5. So, yeah, that's not as much of a wash as I would think.
Whoa. Now, look, going in to a series, right? And having predictions based off of what you've seen. No, I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying. That's fair. No, that's fair. Going in. All right, so you're talking about on paper going in the matchups. Got it. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. That's fine. I get that.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, now would you not say that Draymond Green outperformed expectations
based upon the system that they play in?
Averaging a triple double, and if they would have won, might have would have won Finals MVP
during the season. So it wasn't a 20-point triple.
Yeah, but to win, if they would have won that Finals, Mike, Draymond Green had a huge claim at stake of winning MVP. So is that expectation? Was that expectation?
I can't even put a lot of stuff in.
The question was that expectation for Draymond Green to win the Finals MVP? Was
to answer that one directly? No, I mean, sorry. Yes, it's absolutely. But if you want me to be direct on that end, yes, absolutely. But to how he played, no. I mean, he's a gamer. Like I can't say he outperformed. So what he did was something that was just unfathomable because they gave him those threes like to shoot. And it was just a matter of if he would make them or not. And again, Draymond is a baller. He was a baller for Michigan State, right? He was a baller in high school, right? And he's always been a gamer. So it's just a matter, again, if for him to hit those shots. And he hasn't shown a dereliction to not taking those shots, right? So it's just a matter of, again, hitting them. But again, to directly answer your question, as far as him being an NBA Finals MVP, was that if an odds maker was putting it up on the board, it would be far odds, sure. Because again, the names on there obviously usually it goes to the names, right? Usually the NBA Finals MVP goes to name, which is why the Andre Iguodala one still perplexes me to this day, right? But at the same token, to each their own.
Yeah, no, they robbed Steph. That's what happened. But anyway, and going into that one where Draymond would have won the Finals MVP. Yeah, that was Steph's unanimous year because that was the year obviously they lost. So it's, So yeah, Steph underplayed considering expectations, and Draymond overperformed considering expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the
No,
numbers though,
absolutely.
because I think we're getting a little sidetracked. Um, Now Michael Jordan has played less seasons than LeBron James. So you know what happens when you start adding that number up, right? Like LeBron James, 17 seasons, 4 championships, and then you have 15 seasons, 6 championships. That percentage is in favor of who?
Okay.
And is it relatively
Yeah, no, I
close? That
get
percent?
what you're saying. I get
No, no,
you're
it's not.
getting to what you're getting at with that point. And I think the beauty of the arguments, right, is that you say 6 out of 15, right, and I have 4 out of 17. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because he hasn't played. 18's coming up,
Mm-hmm.
right? But the same token,
Mm-hmm.
the,
But that 15 though too. 15 is counting
well,
Wizards years. FYI.
which is insane in its outright, right? But what about the years before Scotty got there? Right, because I believe it took Jordan 7 years to win his first championship.
The years before Scotty got there, yeah, I mean he won his first one in '91. He got drafted in '84, so yeah, about 7 years. But the year that Scotty got there, they would have won, but Scotty was sick. I mean, I'm not gonna speculate too much in that, but I don't know. I mean, based off trends, yeah, they probably would have won.
Right.
They probably would have won. So anyway, we don't know. Scotty got sick, but you know what? They came back the next year and they won 3 in a row, and that's what Scottie Pippen, one other All-Star. And I'm not even just gonna just stick to that moniker of All-Star because that is a huge understatement when you tie it to Scottie Pippen. Obviously, Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest players of all time, and to call him just an All-Star is damn near disrespectful. So, and I don't want to just take off of Scotty just to put onto Jordan. I'm not gonna do that. No, Scotty was great. He was integral, and they needed each other, and they all needed fill. They were a great cohesive unit. But when I evaluate that, that appears greater to me than what LeBron James was able to do. So
out of the 10 championships that LeBron played in, how many did he play in with someone of the caliber of Scottie Pippen? Yes, that's
all the Heat ones.
And he was 2 for 2.
All the Heat ones. And when he became the Frozen one, he should have won that one. He should have won that one. He should have won LeBron's
career. I'm sorry, on LeBron's as far as the argument on his to make the argument. No, I won't discount that. That's 9, right? So that one is. I don't want to say that's. So let's again. Right, because as far as the point, right, about who he played with, right? How many players were on that caliber? You said at this point we're at 4, right? So
we got the So the first Cleveland one, we're not even counting that. I'll give him the mulligan just like I give Jordan the mulligan in the Wizard years. Like LeBron, it was just phenomenal that he got there. You know what I'm saying? There was no way he was going to beat Popovich.
How can that be the same mulligan if Michael Jordan didn't make it to the finals in those Wizard years? No,
Michael Jordan was 40 years old.
I understand that, but that's what I'm saying. Like those can't be on the same. You said you're going to give him the mulligan just like you give Michael Jordan the mulligan for the Wizard years. They're not. They're 2 different age ranges. I just want to make
all right. Even if all right, so you know what, the mulligan helps LeBron more, but you know what, that's fine because you know what, that 1 year, even if I leave it and add the 2 years for Michael Jordan still has the better career to championship percentage. So okay, I'll leave it at that. That's fine. Leave Michael with 6 and 15 as opposed to the 6 and 13. That's fine. And LeBron still has 4 and 17 as opposed to the 4 and 15. I mean 4 and 16. So whatever. That's cool with me.
Yes, please.
So back to answer your question, Cleveland, he had Kyrie and Kevin Love combined. They're going to equal out to Scotty, but then you have to. Now I have to equate for like the Horace Grants. I'm trying to think else who was on that Cavs team that could
you won't find it.
That would be.
So let me help you there. So it I like Mo
Okay.
Williams.
Hold on. No. Hold on. Before you go there, I'll just say one thing. Okay. So the teams that LeBron lost to in the finals, tell me they're Michael and Scotty, because apparently you're saying that if LeBron's gonna be Mike, he didn't have a Scotty except for when he was in Miami. The teams that he won against, they better have had the goddamn Scottie Pippen for you to be making this argument.
So Kevin, he won that one actually, so I can't even use that one as an argument. I mean, because he beat Kevin Durant.
Which one?
That don't count.
That don't fucking count.
How does that not count? They made it to the finals.
Oh no. They shouldn't have. Number one. Number two, if LeBron played that team,
they shouldn't have. So you again, this is the no credit. So the team that gets there, right? They have 3 potential MVPs. I can't use that obviously because they didn't win it at that point. So.
But that's the worst part about this team. So I'm like bringing it up because whenever anyone does, they look at Russ, they look at KD, they look at Ibaka.
No, I can't. But they got today's lens. But like who?
Yeah, but we can't look at them like
I can't use the potential MVP logic, right? Because they didn't win it at that point, right? Again, the listening. I know you mentioned I'm not hearing or listening to what you're saying, but that's why I'm saying I can't use the potential MVP moniker, right? So the Kevin Durant still at that point was a monster, even if he wasn't the Kevin Durant that was playing in the NBA, the MVP Kevin Durant, or even the one that won NBA Finals MVP. He was still a monster. Russell Westbrook at that point, even if I went through the statistics. Right at that point in their careers, they were still monsters. Now, were they the monsters that we see, the monsters that we see today? No, I can't do that, right? But at the same token, I'm just bringing that up as a team, right? Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan. You said the teams that had someone of the Scottie Pippen like that he lost to.
No, Tim Duncan wasn't Scottie Pippen. That was Tim Duncan's
Jordan,
team.
They better have somebody that was on par with two.
Yeah, the next person. We're assuming we're comparing LeBron to Jordan. So whenever we look at his opponents, all right, the best player.
All right, but no, you said Michael Jordan, the Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen duo, right? So what I'm talking about is. So then, okay, I can't use Tim Duncan then. So I can't use the alpha on the team then. Is that what you're telling me? So I have to go ahead and use the beta.
Yeah, but the Warriors are fine because it wouldn't be KD, it would be Steph. But Steph, all right, yeah. Steph
and even if we want to do that, cool. Because again, I don't even know why I went to the loss. I mean, the wins. What about the losses with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry, the ones you just brought up? Yes, absolutely. Where he lost.
Where he lost? Oh yeah, look. Those 2 losses. Look, man. No one was going to beat those teams as far as I know. You know what I'm saying? So like, I'm not beating on LeBron so much. For those losses. You know what I'm saying? Like that team, like I said, the 73-9 team wasn't the freaking monster. The monster came when Kevin Durant got there.
I mean, they were always a problem. They just weren't as big as a problem until KD got there. But I get what you're saying.
No, but if KD would have never went. If KD would have never went there, the Warriors would not have won a championship again. Because there's no way LeBron just snatches your heart 3-1. Nah, that team was never going to be the same. They needed KD.
I don't think it's just
they needed KD. LeBron had
hey,
he had their heart.
I didn't know you were also a psychologist, but okay, great, okay. So, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's that definitive. But hey, it's your opinion. Okay, sure. So, team.
That's facts.
Team, right? So I think so. If I can't use, because most teams don't have a Scottie Pippen, right? At the helm as the beta, essentially, right? But as you were mentioning, you were saying the Kyrie and Love, they equated to a Scottie Pippen, right? statement should you make? So Manu and Tony Parker.
Mm-hmm.
No. Manu gets He gets no. So are you choosing to forget the dog that Manu Ginobili was in his prime?
No, Manu Ginobili was great, but he was
relegated a six man based upon how they wanted to play that system. He's a starter everywhere else. He's not.
I know. He
plays minutes.
And look, So look, Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili, great. They're great. Actually, all three of them together, great. But when I compare them to LeBron James, Kyrie, and Kevin Love, all right, Kyrie over Tony. Now, I think that I think LeBron is now the best small forward of all time. I think Tim Duncan is the best four of all time. So that's a wash. So then the Kyrie gets a nod, and then it's Kevin Love and Ginobili. And I don't think that that's like a huge disparity. I think it's close, but I don't know. So I can't sit here and say that they equate to a Scotty like Kyrie.
But they beat a Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh duo. So then what
they did?
I'm not even comparing them to. I mean, the last time I checked, Dwayne Wade was way better than Kyrie Irving. So, okay. So then I guess we will have to throw that off then. So okay. So then because who were his other losses to? He lost to the Spurs, lost to the Mavericks, which we've already both surmised that was a huge black mark on his career. Who else? Mm-hmm. Lost to the Warriors.
Yeah. No, let's do it like this. Let's count. Let's take out the ones that we're not counting, because he went 10. So take out the 2 with KD, so that's 8. Then take out. Well, we're not gonna take out the Mavs one because that one's staying right where it needs to be. He should have won that one. But the one with the Spurs,
you think he should have won?
I think he should have won. Well, honestly, no. I think the Spurs should have beat him both times. Right. In my personal opinion, I think they should have won both times. But if LeBron James is supposed to be the greatest player, like everyone fucking says he is, and I love LeBron James, but like if that's the reality, then you know what, he should have won.
Okay,
but he didn't. And what does that say? So no, I think that the Spurs should have won both. I think Ray Allen fucking saved his career with that huge shot. I'll never forget watching that shot. And Ray Allen's my dude. I'm a huge Ray Allen fan. Love Ray Allen, and that shot was just great to see it go in, man. And I knew they were going to come back and win that series after that. But again, so I don't know. It's not looking too good for LeBron. And then if the argument is, all right, he went against stout people, who's better, Tim Duncan or LeBron? I just said I think it's a wash. I think one's the best at his respective position, the other one's the best at his respective position. KD, all right, you get that. KD and Steph, all right. You should have beat Dirk, bro. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. LeBron should have 5. If LeBron did what he's supposed to do, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah, but he got there 10 times, right? So yes, he should have got there. He should have won that one. But what about the other ones that he's? What about the other ones that he's lost? Say it again. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Will Chamberlain.
What about Will Chamberlain?
What about Will Chamberlain then? Why didn't he win?
Well, he couldn't beat Kareem in his own conference.
What? Why?
What? That was enough. I mean, he couldn't beat Bill Russell in his own conference, and he was going against literally the best composite. I don't want to say the best team, because obviously I'm sure if we stack those two, the Curry against Bob Cousy, I'm sure it was Lord Jesus. But at the same time, at that point in time in their careers, he was going nowhere when he was on the Philadelphia Warriors. So against that Boston Celtics team that won 10 NBA Finals. So I mean, but that's why he's but wouldn't that same argument that you're trying to use for LeBron, wouldn't that same argument be used or should be used instead of LeBron for Will Chamberlain? Listen, getting right before the finals and losing. No, but you're asking me why is it not the same?
You're still getting there, right?
For me, you're asking me why I don't believe the argument is the same. Is because he got past the people that he would need to get past to get to the promised land. He couldn't get it done in those moments.
But the team that he lost to before the finals went on to win the finals.
That Celtics team,
right?
That the 10 championship winning Celtics team.
Yeah, yep. That's my point. So regardless of if he was in a different conference and he made it to the finals, like you're trying to say for LeBron, it doesn't matter. He lost. He still lost, right? He was going to lose anyway. That team was better,
you're
right?
saying you're comparing the situation and the plight of Wilt Chamberlain's journey to winning a championship, right? Going through to LeBron.
No, because you were saying 10 times.
That he got to the finals.
Emphasized 10 times. Okay. So Wilt Chamberlain, had it not been for those pesky fucking Boston Celtics,
they weren't no damn pesky. The juggernaut. They were a fucking juggernaut.
No.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm clearing it up. Because
anyway,
there's nothing to laugh at. They were a fucking juggernaut.
Yeah, and they beat him. And regardless of if he was in a different conference and met them in the finals, regardless, they were still going to beat him. So you want to say appearances or lack of finals appearances because of that? Okay, so I'll take all that. But still, again,
that's
not the same argument.
It's not because then I would ask you, who did Jordan play that had that type of that was going against that? Who did Jordan play that was on par with that Celtics team that Wilt Chamberlain was playing against?
Well,
exactly. So why would I? I would never use. That's why I would never use. I would use Wilt Chamberlain as a pre-modern.
No. I'm using the finals appearances. You are trying to make the case.
No. I wasn't making the appearance. No.
So okay, Wilt Chamberlain.
My argument was not. He got there 10 times, so that's why he's better than Michael Jordan. That was. I never mentioned that. Right? Because again, context matters to me, though. Right. So what happened in those 10 finals, right? Which is why I'm giving you I don't want to say the mulligan, right? Because I don't want to, water that Mavericks thing down to a mulligan, right? Because it's not a mulligan, right? It's a black mark. Yeah, it's extremely important. But then that leaves 9 finals appearances and what happened between those 9, right? That I'm focusing in on. Right. I'm not because I get it. Your point is valid. You don't get credit for just getting there. Right. But also there's also again the context of what happened in those losses as well. That's extremely important. That I'm simply trying to make sure people stay honest on, right? Because they're acting because when you ask people, I'm not saying you, but when you ask people about those teams that he lost to, they act as though they're just chopped liver. Like those teams had no business being in the finals whatsoever. Like those players aren't going to be Hall of Fame players when it's all said and done. Like, yes, LeBron, the teams that he lost to in the finals, those players are not going to be like Manu Ginobili's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Like Tony Parker's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. And if he's not, he's going to be in there for his European contributions just as much as well anyway. Right? So, no, definitely Manu want to go Tony, but
Manu might not.
The Hall of Basketball Hall of Fame, they incorporate all that.
Yeah, but not Yeah, but I'm saying
that's the beauty of it. That's the reason why he's going. I'm not saying he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but do I believe that he'll squeak in there? Yes, absolutely. And he was still a 6 man. Like that's the insane part about Manu Ginobili. Like and also it's not even fair to simply call him a 6 man, even though that's technically what his moniker was. Again, he was playing heavy starter minutes, right? It's just he was just coming off the bench. That was literally the only distinction between him and a starter. Right. At the end of the day, he was playing all the fourth quarters. He was playing he was playing 35 plus minutes. So it's not like he wasn't fucking, getting burned as a starter. Technically, it's just again. So Manu Ginobili, like when you speak to people that try to make the argument that LeBron James is just, the leastern, right? They forget about these players that existed there that were in the way of him being able to do what he's done in his career. As opposed to Michael Jordan. Right, which I'm not saying he didn't go against juggernaut. I mean, not juggernaut, but he didn't go against Hall of Fame people, right? But if you look at those teams, the drop off is crazy. The drop off is crazy between Karl Malone and Stockton and the rest of that team. The drop off is crazy between Barkley and the rest of that team. Okay, so like, yeah, no, I'm just
Bro,
saying.
hold on a second. You know how many games the Suns won that year? You know
Team
how many
game,
games the
team game.
Jazz won
But
both
I want you to
times?
tell me who was the third person on that team that.
You,
But that's what I'm. I just said
no.
it's a
So
team
how
game.
did they win all those games?
But
Then that's what I want to know.
that doesn't mean that there can't be
That's what I said.
drop off
That's
between.
what I'm saying.
So you're telling me that the precipitation between the Charles Barkley career and Tom Chambers and and Rex Chapman, you're telling me they're close to one another. No, I'm asking. That's what I'm asking. That's why I'm asking.
No, that's not what I'm saying, Mike. Obviously, obvious. Listen. Obviously,
Sure.
Charles Barkley was an MVP, which brings me to another point. Michael Jordan beat two MVPs in the MVP year in the finals. He beat an MVP the year he won the finals.
I'm not downplaying it, but I'm bringing up a point. I'm bringing up a point. I'm saying but I'm bringing up. Yeah, absolutely, and that's another team, right? But I'm bringing them up to say that the people that are saying that the teams that LeBron played weren't shit, right? Versus the from top to bottom at least, right? Versus the teams that Michael Jordan was playing, right? If we are looking at the numbers, right? Looking at the personnel, there was a drop off. Like that, I'm not saying they weren't good teams. I'm just saying that the talent level was significantly, there was a drop off. Well, when Michael Jordan beat the Heat?
No, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh,
so
Joel Anthony.
Dwayne Wade is. I'm not gonna sit here and say that there is a significant drop off, right, between Dwayne Wade and LeBron James, right? Because I'm sure some people would put Dwayne Wade in the top 15, right? But I mean, there is a drop off between 1 and 15. But the drop off between Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen is not as big as the big drop off between LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. Is it?
Yes, actually it is, Mike. So friends, yeah,
because do remember Scottie Pippen played his whole career with Michael Jordan. It's not like he got. It's not. Sorry. No.
Actually, the best part about it is he didn't, because he played in Portland.
The back end of his career.
And he played. And he played when and he also played when Mike retired, and they won 50 something plus games.
You're absolutely right. No, you're absolutely right. Saying whole career is inaccurate. I will reissue my statement by saying he played his whole prime with Michael Jordan. Sorry, yes. The 2 seasons, yes, those 2 seasons.
When Hakeem won,
but Scottie Pippen played 16 seasons. Yeah. Right. So. Okay.
And a lot of it was with Jordan. Okay, if that's what you're trying to say. Okay, but that's not really pertinent to my point. So yes, Scottie got the opportunity to show us how great he was. With pretty much the same team minus MJ. They didn't win a championship. Hakeem won. They played every game like it was Game 7 of the finals, and they had nothing left.
I love this one.
They won more games than they should have won that year. I think they probably should have won. I think they should have won mid 40s to high 40s, maybe 50 games, but not. I think they finished with like 55. I think they tried way too hard. They were being try hard to prove a point when Michael was gone. That's what I think in the regular season. That's my personal opinion. You can agree with it, take it as it is, whatever. Now, when you talk about Dwayne Wade literally won a championship before he even had LeBron. He was the first one out of that bunch to win a championship. So he already proved that, and not only did he win it, obviously he played with Shaquille O'Neal, and I'm not going to sit here and say that he will Shaquille O'Neal.
Yes.
But when you look at Dwayne Wade's numbers
in that finals,
that man was on a whole different level. So he gets the nod. He gets the nod from me in that. Now, if he would have just won Finals MVP and his numbers would have been like kind of like, like even like Kobe numbers against the I think it was against the 76ers. Like it was like, those are decent numbers, but those weren't Dwayne Wade numbers in the finals. Dwayne Wade did something on a whole different level, and he proved beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was that guy. So the drop off that you're trying to talk about, are you talking about overall? Or are you
I
talking
don't
about
understand the
once they
question.
got together? For overall, prime to prime, the drop off, or when they were playing together?
I'm talking about
the
when they were
drop off you're
playing
talking
together.
about. When they were playing together, I believe they were both in the top 5. Dwayne Wade and LeBron James. I believe they were both top 5 players. Kind of like how LeBron and Anthony Davis this year were top 5 players.
So this is where the distinction occurs, right? So when Scottie Pippen took his team, right, to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they lost, I believe they won 6 games against the Orlando Magic. No, it was the Orlando Magic, I believe. Again, and then this was Scottie Pippen sat out game 5, during the latter stages of the game, because he was having a whole moment, and even still, right, that team, right, with Scottie Pippen, who I mean, they had, I believe that they still had Rodman at the time, but obviously Rodman is not carrying the brunt scoring wise. So outside of no, you're right.
I don't know.
You're right. He didn't come until the
Rodman was
so I mean, sorry, the second three-peat. So even still, right, if they didn't have Rodman, right, the next best player.
But they already three.
No.
They already three people around Rodman. So
I'm saying, but who was the next best player after Scottie Pippen? That's what I'm talking about.
Horace Grant.
So is Horace Grant a top 50 player? Is Tony Kukoc a top 50 player?
And Tony Kukoc.
No. Again, but we're talking about drop off. I'm not saying that they're bad players. I'm not saying that the team constructed at that time was a bad team. I'm not. Obviously, they won 55 games for a reason, right? But I'm saying that there was still a drop off between the talent of Scottie Pippen, right? And we saw that in the 1991. Well, I can't even. So I'll talk about that one, because that dream team was when Tony Kukoc was still in his younger. I think he was not even. I think he was still a teenager when they played him in that Olympic. In those Olympic games. So that was maybe 2. So when the 1994-95 season, and the 93-94 season. So I think Kukoc was like 20-21 at that time, maybe 22. So then if that's the case, then again, there's still a significant drop off at those points in their career. So this is what I'm talking about. It's just simply that, Scottie Pippen, I think people, the credit as far as, where he stands in the top 50, do I believe that he would have moved up significantly in that time period if he played on his own? Yes. Compared to where he was at because he played with Jordan?
Nah, people are just different. People are different. People aren't, not everyone's Jordan, not everyone's Kobe.
I agree.
They're different. Not everyone is LeBron. So I think that we saw what Scottie was capable of, and that is just being a great number 2
deep to the
championship level team.
Eastern Conference Finals. So that then this is what I'm saying. It's just to make so.
No,
in the Eastern Conference Finals.
They didn't. No, they lost to the Knicks. They lost to the Knicks in the second round.
So when did?
No, it wasn't.
No, that was
that was a semifinal.
No, yes, no. Sorry. So he played. Round? So he played without Jordan because Jordan came back like halfway through the season one of those years, no? And they lost to the Magic.
Yeah,
they lost to the Magic, and yeah. They didn't make it to I don't think they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals that year. I think they lost in the semis. No, I think they lost in the semis when he came back halfway through. Before that, they lost. Was because Hakeem mollywopped Shaquille in the first year, and I think he mollywopped Ewing in the second year. So if anything, he probably gentleman swept, I believe, the Bulls that first year without Michael. I mean, but again, that's a huge dichotomy shift.
Yeah,
No, it wasn't
semifinals. Yeah,
both
second
years.
round both
They made
years.
it to the Eastern Conference Finals the second year.
Yeah, no, they did. No, I'm looking it up, Mike. No, it was both years, second round. Second round, man. I'm looking it up.
Sorry, what?
I'm telling you,
sorry,
second round. They lost
both times. What was the season
Shaquille
series?
O'Neal. Season series?
Sorry, season series. The series. Like, what did the series come out to? Did they get swept both
they
times?
Were 7 games. Without Michael against the Knicks, and then the Knicks games against the Magic.
Okay. No, and thank you. I appreciate that because that definitely that clears it up. I don't want to make sure we want to make sure we're staying factual. But at the same token, even still, right, to make it that deep, and that team that he played against, even still speaking, if wasn't whether or not it was Eastern Conference Finals or not, I mean that team went on to go deep into the playoffs. It's just they met up against Hakeem, right? Hakeem, Clyde.
Interesting though. The year before Jordan came back, Scottie with 2 All-Stars. B.J. Armstrong, Horace Grant were both All-Stars that year. Horace Grant made a defensive team, and Scottie made a defensive team and All-NBA team. So,
yeah, didn't they have the number 1 record?
Nah, they didn't. But we can't sit here and.
Or sorry, not the number 1. They weren't they like a top
55 games that year.
Like a. Yeah, so then that they were most likely a top 3 team that year.
Yeah,
no?
They were the 3rd.
Right. So then that constitutes them making.
Yeah, but that also takes away from the argument of Scottie didn't have any help. He had 2 All-Stars.
I never said he didn't have any help. No, I didn't. I don't even. It's insane to me. I wouldn't. First of all, I literally just said that those were good teams, right? I'm talking. So again, so that means that B.J. Armstrong is on par, not on par, but a level below Scottie Pippen.
Yep.
Because he made an All-Star team.
No, I'm joking. But no.
Got it. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So,
but Michael only All-Star was Scottie.
During those teams?
Ever. Like what the? Except for the last 3, Pete, the last championship they won, because Scottie didn't play the majority of the year.
So that again, I mean, wouldn't that also constitute who was also playing in the Eastern Conference at that time?
Mike, there were great players playing in the Eastern Conference at that time. Michael Jordan just so happened.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So it would be harder. I understand that, but I'm saying it would be harder for someone like because again, let's be real. B.J. Armstrong's career is not a all-star bevied career. So for him to make it that year, right, says a lot.
Yeah, but you don't have to be an all-star player in and out to win a championship. Because last time I checked, that's what it's about, right? And
I didn't. No. I don't care. I'm not saying you said I said that.
Let's get to the meat and potatoes.
But okay? Let's get to the meat and
potatoes. Michael Jordan is the greatest player of all time. He is 6-0 in the finals, 2 separate three-peats. He beat 2 league MVPs in their MVP years. He's never gone to a game 7. So that whole clutch shit, I don't want to hear about it. You don't have to be clutch when you're just whooping ass and you're doing what you're supposed to do. Like when Jordan retired, Hakeem came and won twice in a row. That's what you're supposed to do when you're the best. Jordan wasn't in the league anymore. Hakeem Olajuwon was the best player. And anyone that had doubts, they didn't have any doubts after that. That's what's supposed to happen. LeBron James, allegedly, is the best player. Now, like I said, I'll give him a pass with the KD years. There was nothing you could do about that. Nothing. And honestly, I think he skated out with one on San Antonio. I think he should have lost all of the ones to San Antonio. So that's 5 championships out of his 10. So now let's just talk about those 5. Out of those 5, you only won 4. Sorry.
Okay, so if we're making final cases, my final case is again that LeBron James is the greatest of all time. Ergo, obviously, he holds more statistical categories than Michael Jordan. I'm making points. I'm making my point. You made your points. I listened. I sat here and listened. I didn't refute your points. I'm making my points. So allow me to do so. You can Say what you
All right,
will
so
after.
no. Before you make your points, let's just say this. I don't want to hear about totals. I don't want to hear about this. No,
You
about
again. You don't want to hear about that's fine. Then cover your ears. Cover your ears while I make my
no.
points. This is my points are not for you. They're for
Mike,
our
if it takes
viewers.
you 20
So
years to build a house, and it takes me 5 years to build a house, are you a better house builder than me?
again,
What are you talking about? No.
again, I'm going to make my points. You can do as you may after I'm done with
All right,
my
I'm a
points.
filibuster. Blah blah
And I
blah
won't
blah
do
blah
them.
blah blah blah.
Sure. Sure. So my point is LeBron James holds the
Oh
statistical
my god.
advantage, right?
Oh
Across the
god.
board. Be it to say that LeBron James, for the totality of his career, was asked to do a ton more. Right.
Oh,
And that's just, I mean, again, it again, you can, oh my God, oh my goodness, all you want. It's just, again, that as we said, that we're just throwing out the
no.
facts. I mean,
Facts.
he
No,
holds the
no,
facts are
no,
he holds the statistical
no,
category. That is the
no. The
fact.
fact of the matter.
Across the
No.
board, he
Fact of the
holds
matter
them.
is, if you want to talk about raw just counting numbers, yes. But you know what? When you do that, you have to take into the fact that he's played in far
Sure.
more playoff
Sure.
games, more
Sure.
finals games than the Michael has.
Sure.
Which means he
But again,
needs more to do less. Okay. And then if you want to say he leads his teams in all those numbers and he was asked to do more, I hate that.
I think it's funny to me. I think it's funny to me how you gave your soliloquy, right, where you ran through your monikers for Jordan. And if that's the case, you can have the argument then. Jordan's better than LeBron. If you're going to cut me off at my points when I allowed you to finish your points, then by all means, I think we've gone over on the podcast.
Stats, and I didn't bring up stats. You want?
I didn't say. I brought them up as part of what I wanted to bring up as far as my points, and I'm going down the line of my points. But if you're going to argue each point that I make up, even though I let you finish and get your points out, right, without interrupting you, then by all means, we don't need to. We're out of 1 hour and 40 minutes. We can continue this debate another day when you can select to do so. Because we're very much over. We're very much over.
It's not even close, Mike.
Sure, by all means, Aaron, you can have it then. Great job.
Thank you.
But all right, is there anything else?
No.
For our letter.
One last thing, man. If the argument needs to be made through raw counting numbers, when obviously the numbers are going to be inflated because one person has played in far more playoff games, then like you said, there's no point in having that conversation because it's just about longevity. Then, and if that's the case, then I don't hear you clamoring for Kareem instead of LeBron. But yeah.
I mean, again, it's the arguments between those two players. But hey, again, Aaron, you got it. You got the floor. So thank you for that point. All right, everybody. This was a great episode. I know we've gone considerably over. And you guys let us know. Who do you guys think is the greatest of all time? We'll be listening and looking out for your remarks.
Are you sure about that?